There we go.
And welcome to the Rub Shoot Podcast, the place to be for your wrestling needs. I am Victor Slick.
And I am Bunny Von Terror coming at you in full makeup. Whoop whoop.
All right. As you can see, this is our second episode. As you can see, we have new lower thirds here. So you can follow me at animatedlonewolf.com, and you can also follow Bunny
At Bunny Von Terra on Twitter. And Victor, yours is backwards on the live feed as well.
Okay, well, I'm going to take that away then.
All right. So exciting news, exciting news.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay. Great. We just started off really slow. Really bad. But anyway, here we're going to be talking about, of course, what happened on Raw and SmackDown. And also, we're going to talk a little bit more, go in depth to wrestling, and give you some of the wrestling news that's been going on.
Yep,
So,
the latest and greatest.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I want to kick things off with something that's super, super exciting in our wrestling family. Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan. Wow. Okay, there we go. Botchamania right there. They gave birth to their baby. Yay! Little Birdie Joe has been welcomed into the world. She came into the world on the 9th, which is a couple days ago, but obviously it's been a couple days. So yeah, congratulations to Daniel Bryan, whatever I'm calling him today. To Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, we wish you the best and welcome Birdie Joe to the world. Yay!
Yeah. Does my lower third look backwards now?
It looks excellent.
Okay, it's normal. Yay! There you go. All right. Well, without further ado, okay. Let's start this off with a bang. Let's see what happened Monday night on Monday Night Raw.
Well, that was an explosive episode, let me tell you.
Oh my god! Can I say the first part, because I did see a little bit of Raw, and say the first part.
Yeah.
So of course we had Dean Ambrose opening the show, and
Which anytime he opens up the show makes my heart happy.
And what had happened was that he gets a phone call. Gets a phone call from the general manager, Kurt Angle. And what had happened was he gets the phone call, and he tells Dean that he is going to be the general manager, acting general manager for that Monday Night Raw.
Because obviously they're in London, England, and Kurt Angle's not going to make the trip.
Right. So yeah. That's right. Yes, it did. It did open at the O2 in London. That's where it was that night, and Dean Ambrose was going to be the acting general manager of Raw. But wait, there was more. Of course, The Miz comes in, and he said he talked to Stephanie McMahon. So they were saying that now Miz is the co-acting general manager. So that night, there were two general managers that night. And of course, now Bunny can fill us up with the rest.
Yep. So what happened was, turns out The Miz, got a hold of Stephanie McMahon, and they were co GMs for the night, since both Stephanie and Kurt Angle obviously weren't there. Which obviously, since there is a rivalry there, this was going to be a fun night. And so the first order of business Dean does is orders The Miz to take on none other than the handsome, alluring Finn Balor.
That's
And-
right. He's the leader of the Balor Club, and he was going to take on The Miz.
And see, what happened was, as we went on with the match, we all know The Miz is a heel. He's a fantastic heel. And so during the match, he decides to... Maurice hops up on the apron, distracts the referee, and then The Miz shoves Finn into the ref and calls for a disqualification. And then...
My apologies there. My cat wanted to go out.
It's okay. And then freaking Dean comes at the top of the ramp with his mic saying, "Oh no, this is a non-disqualification match." And he freaking, like, makes the match start all over again because Miz had already called for the bell for disqualification, making sure he won because, you know, he's a lowlife. So the match restarts, and then what happens is Finn obviously wins. Finn Balor wins the match. Yay!
Don't forget to mention that he kicked Maurice out.
Oh yeah, he does kick
match.
Maurice out. He bans her from ringside, which I think was fair. Oh gosh, what was on that next card?
Have no fear. Have no fear. I have it here. And don't forget, before that match even started, of course, Braun Strowman. This is the one thing we forgot to mention before that match started. Braun Strowman comes out. Okay. And he's, you know, and the funny thing was that everybody in the crowd was shouting, "Thank you, Strowman. Thank you, Strowman." And he just told Ambrose, it doesn't matter who was in charge. He was going to get what he wants no matter what. And once his arm is healed, because remember, his arm got hurt at Payback. Once his arm heals, he's going to end Roman Reigns. And then...
Which the WWE crowd was cheering for, even though Roman is mysteriously still a face somehow. But what happened next was pretty awesome, and I was excited.
Yeah, we heard Kalisto's new music come out, and for what happened between him and Braun Strowman in the dumpster match 2 weeks ago. Of course, Kalisto hasn't forgotten that, and he was saying basically he was challenging Strowman to a match that night, and needless to say, you know, of course, Braun Strowman was laughing, ha ha ha, and excuse me, and basically he was telling him that, you know, he's hurt right now, but I can. This is the one thing that, of course, he shouldn't have said in front of Dean Ambrose. He was like, "I'm hurt, but I can beat you with only one arm." And Dean was like, "Okay, you can do that. Hey, okay, then tonight, Kalisto versus Braun Strowman."
And Braun Strowman was trying to backpedal the entire time.
And
he's like, "But I'm hurt. I'm hurt."
It's like, well, but Dean was like, "Well, you're the one that said that, you know, you can win with just one arm." So he made the match,
which I thought was funny as hell.
So of course, backstage, and of course, we also have to talk about backstage. What happened? Alexa was getting ready for her match against Mickie James, and here comes big old Nia Jax backstage, and she blatantly said to her, and you can see the fear in Alexa's eyes when she saw Nia Jax, where Nia strictly said, "After Bayley, I get the next title shot." So, and of course, Alexa's trying to weasel. I think Alexa was just trying to weasel her way out of it.
Oh yeah.
saying that just basically saying, oh yeah, I can give you I would love to give you the match, but the only problem is I don't make the matches. Kurt Angle does. So when when he comes back, I'll figure out something and we'll take it from there. And she was like, okay, well, and Jax was like, well, until then, you and I are best friends right now. And still, it's just, the funny thing was that fear turned into confidence. So,
And I love the fact that Nia Jax actually says to Alexis Bliss, "Well, it looks like you just got yourself a new best friend." And the look on Alexis Bliss's face as she's walking to the ring is just priceless.
oh my god! All right, well, of course we have our match, and I'm pretty sure you saw that match. So, can you explain to us what happened with Alexa Bliss and Mickie James?
Yep. So turns out, obviously, Jax and Bliss are together. So since it's a Jax and Bliss and alliance now, because of course Nia Jax forced her hand. But Mickie James comes down to the ring wearing a kind of Bayley-esque outfit, if you know what I'm saying. And as soon as she starts to head to the ring, Bayley's music comes on and she hops out, and her and Mickie James are just strutting down to the ring. It's a match made in heaven, to be honest with you. And so it was a good match. I actually really enjoyed it. Obviously, Alexa Bliss picked up the win, but then Bayley and Alexa Bliss started chasing each other up the ramp because obviously Bayley's got unfinished business, and she's got that rematch clause, obviously. And then, in a strange turn of events, as you see Alexa and Bayley chasing each other up, the camera goes back to Nia and Mickie, who are still in the ring. Mickey's hurt, obviously. Nia's just standing there because she was just valeting, and all of a sudden, Nia jumps into the ring. What is Nia gonna do? And she starts beating the crap out of Mickie James for no apparent reason, other than the fact that obviously she's with Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss just beat Mickie James. It made no sense. I wasn't a fan of that part. I love Nia Jax. I'm a huge fan of Nia Jax. But that was, to me, was just kind of bad writing. It was boring. It made no sense.
And of course, my mic's muted. Oh, we're up to a great start. We are up for a great start here. All right. All right. But then next, of course, we have another backstage segment with Dean Ambrose overlooking the show and stuff. And God, I swear to God, anything with Dean Ambrose is just hilarious. Whether he's just cracking some or he's just beating up somebody, it's just funny.
Like when he was harassing Shane McMahon after they had lost. Team SmackDown, I think, lost. No, Team SmackDown won, but it was when the AJ Dean rivalry was still going on, and betrayed Team SmackDown and started beating up on AJ.
Yeah. It's just funny.
It's so they banned him, and every time he dressed as a Mountie. Oh my God! Like this man.
I remember that one. I remember he was dressed up as a Mountie. So Dean Ambrose was looking at one of the backstage managers, I guess, just looking over what the show is, and then here comes the Miz, and just whining and bitching. What was that all about? This, that, and the other thing. And he's like, I was gonna have a special episode of Miz TV with one of the members of One Direction.
and Dean Ambrose, I remember him saying, "Which one, Justin, Bobby?" And he's like, "That's none of their names. Like, why does the Miz know One Direction's names?"
I have no idea. I just thought that was hilarious, but of course, so tit for tat. Miz decides to put Dean Ambrose in a match against later on against Bray Wyatt. So that was going to be interesting as well, and that, I believe that was going to be the main event.
That was the main event for the night.
Right. So, of course, up next was the Kalisto Braun Strowman match, and they even did a tail of the tape. I was like, and it was like, Jesus. You have like the height. Kalisto was 5'6". Weight. The height for Braun Strowman was 6'8". Weight for Kalisto was 170 pounds. And they even measured like his neck, biceps, and chest. So Kalisto's neck was like 15.75 inches. Biceps were 16 inches, and chest was 43 inches. Of course, the signature move was the Salida del Sol. And you have Braun Strowman with the weight of 385 pounds, his neck size 22.5 inches, biceps 23 inches, and chest 62 inches. Of course, his signature move, the Power Slam. So, yeah, there was... yeah.
Quite a bit of difference there.
That's a big difference. But right after that, of course, we had Samoa Joe in a backstage interview talking about like what happened at Payback with him and Seth Rollins, saying that he's going to just, destroy Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was able to escape last time, and then if you remember last week during the Intercontinental #1 contendership match, it was Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Samoa Joe. And so, of course, from there, Samoa Joe came out and took out Seth Rollins from there. And then, of course, he talked about that in his the interview. And then out of nowhere, Seth Rollins comes in and just jumps him, and they're both fighting in the backstage area. It was just like back and forth. And from what I heard, they actually made that, both general managers actually made that into a match later on.
Which I was excited for because I wanted to see what would have happened.
And what else? Oh, that's right. And then, of course, came, I guess, David and the Goliath match between Braun Strowman and Kalisto.
That's pretty much what it was. Like, when you look at Kalisto compared to Braun Strowman is like 5 billion times the size of Kalisto. I'm pretty sure he takes dumps and it's the size of Kalisto. Like, that man's a mountain.
Oh my God. And also, what else was it? Yeah, well, before that, he Braun Strowman once again gets on the mic and still refuses to take the match because he's injured. But and just as he was about to walk away, I think he signaled for the bell, and next thing you know, there's a big boot right into Kalisto's face, and he goes down quickly. And
And as in the heat of battle, which it was turning out it was definitely a Braun Strowman powered battle.
Yeah.
Because for obvious reasons, he's very overpowered over Kalisto.
Right.
Kalisto got a few jabs in there. It was nice. And then randomly in the middle of the match, Roman Reigns' music starts playing, and the whole crowd starts booing the music.
Oh my God. I have never, ever heard so many boos for that man. Oh my God.
It got to John Cena levels.
Oh my God.
Of booing. Because Roman Reigns comes down, and as soon as he gets down to the ring, they obviously have a stare down because that's what happens in wrestling.
Right.
And as soon as they finish that stare down, Roman beats the crap out of Strowman's arm. He went straight for that hurt arm, and he laid on the Superman punches, and it was insane. Well, they started brawling outside and at ringside. And then in the middle of them brawling, he's about to spear Braun Strowman, and what happened was it was missed because Braun Strowman obviously made sure that didn't happen. And as they're fighting near the announce table, all you can hear is "Let's go Roman," and then Roman sucks. Like,
Oh
that's how
no!
big this has gotten. Like, he's reached John Cena levels of love and hate. Like, you can tell that the fans are divided now, which I'm
Yep.
not sure if WWE wanted that when they started pushing him towards being like John Cena, but at the same time, if they weren't trying that, they still succeeded in getting that same level of love and hate going for him. So it was really funny to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I was just like, and of course, and this is the first time we've actually seen Braun Strowman like retreat, because he not only did Roman Reigns like what do you call it? Not only did Roman Reigns just started beating him, but he took a chair and I don't know why my video went off. He took a chair and just started beating once again right on the arm.
Hmm.
He was targeting that arm the whole time. So like I said, it looks like it's not over between um Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman by any means, really.
And what I love about that rivalry is that you can tell the intensity between Reigns and Strowman. It's actually believable, and every time that they cross paths, it feels like you can feel that intensity. Granted, Strowman showed a lot more vulnerability because he's a mountain of a man. Even when he was with the Wyatt family, he was that mountain. He was the unmovable mountain. And it seems like he's got a couple of cracks in there. And it's kind of interesting that they have him show that vulnerability, especially when he's wanting to challenge Lesnar for the Universal title, which
Right.
was at the beginning of the show. But my main point here is WWE has seriously, they really should consider letting Braun Strowman win that match when they meet again, and then have him go face Lesnar, because I can tell that Brock Lesnar, yeah, his popularity is starting to peak, and it might be time to knock him down a few pegs. Who better than to do that than somebody who is basically the same size as him? Like, that'll be Clash of the Titans right there.
I agree.
But that match in my book, even though there was no deciding factor between Kalisto and Strowman, which I figured there wouldn't be anything, because obviously there's a rivalry between Reigns and Strowman. So I figured it might have been a gimmick just to get Roman out there. But the rivalry between Strowman and Reigns, it's real, and I applaud them. For once, I'm entertained by Roman Reigns, and that's hard because I haven't been entertained with Roman Reigns since the Shield era.
Wow, that's saying a lot. And that's definitely saying a lot. So so let's see, what was next there was another segment with the Golden Truth, of course.
I love the Golden Truth.
Oh yeah, and it was just basically where um it was just basically where what do you call it?
Basically, what happened was Goldust was actually. So we pan in. It's R-Truth. He's got his headphones in. He's having a good old time. He's rapping along to the music, and Goldust comes in, and he's trying to motivate him because a couple weeks ago, Kurt Angle said their win-loss ratio wasn't good enough.
Right.
And so they were trying to show that they were determined. So because their bout that they were getting ready to go into, which was called the Tag Team Turmoil, and we'll get to that in a second, it was for the number one contendership to go against the Hardys for the tag team belts for Raw. And as much as I love Golden Truth and I'd love to see them win, you already knew who was going to win that match anyway. but anytime the Golden Truth is on screen together, I love it because the dynamic personalities between the two and the charisma and the friendship that you can obviously see. The unlikely friendship is what does it for me. Because you've got R-Truth who's just like, yeah, I'm here for the party. Let's rock and roll. And then you've got Goldust who's kind of like the quiet but still goofy kind of guy. So I was rooting for them, obviously. So as soon as they did that segment, it cut obviously to a commercial. But as soon as they got back, you won't believe who came out.
Who came out?
My favorites, Enzo and Cass. How you doing?
Oh, that's right. Yes. I love those guys. Those guys are awesome.
And of course they trash talked, and then so this was the start of the tag team turmoil match. And so who do they face? None other than the kilt wearing duo of Sheamus and Cesaro, which I find is a really odd pairing. Especially their entrance is a little, I don't know, leaves a weird taste in my mouth.
Well, with the kilt and all.
Don't get me wrong, I love a man in a kilt, don't get me wrong, but the way they have them dressed is just kind of silly looking.
Well, I think what it is just they're showing that they worked well as a team, because you got to remember when they were first paired by Mick Foley, they couldn't stand each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, they just started to get along, and they're starting to become, really good friends. And they're showing that their interests towards one another, their interest towards, winning those gold tag team belts again. Mm-hmm. And just showing that they're really good friends now, and they work really, really well as a team. So. But yeah, I think both of them wearing the kilts.
It's kind of silly to me.
And what made it funny was I thought only Scotland wear the kilts, but I found out that also Ireland wears kilts as well. So that was something new I didn't even know.
Looking in our live chat, I just see that one of our viewers, Sam Cakes, how's it going, Sam? Lovely to see you. Looks like they are actually putting Braun Strowman out of commission for a while because he's getting surgery.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. So, but well, that makes sense. Yeah. That's just, I hate it when I lose my train of thought. I have a good idea and it just went free.
That happens in all of my life.
But okay, back to the turmoil. So we had Enzo and Cass and Cesaro and versus Cesaro and Sheamus.
This match was electrifying. Well, I'm always entertained anytime Enzo Amore and Big Cass are in the ring, but the fact that they could actually pair up against Sheamus and Cesaro, because Sheamus and Cesaro, each on their own as singles competitors, they're fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Together, they're almost unstoppable because they've got such power behind them. But Enzo and Big Cass were keeping up. I really thought Enzo and Cass were going to pull that out. But the Europeans dominated the action, and they eliminated Enzo and Big Cass pretty early on.
Yeah, definitely. And they're really getting strong. I really love them as a tag team. And then I think who came up next, I believe, was let me say, I'm just looking to see. Oh,
it's Slater and Rhino, which I love Slater and Rhino's. When Slater and Rhino got together on SmackDown, I about crapped my pants. I never thought I would see Rhino and Heath Slater paired up as a duo, and I was super excited for this. And I'm just like, yeah, because Heath Slater's free agent gimmick was probably one of the funniest things that summer after the brand split. So
basically what happened was it was still Cesaro and Sheamus, with Cesaro putting Enzo in the sharpshooter, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when we saw, and from what I heard, the fans were shouting, "He got kids! He's got kids! He's
Yeah,
got
because
kids!"
that's his gimmick. And on his shirt it says, "I got kids. I need this job."
God.
But Slater and Rhino had no later got onto that ramp to walk down than Sheamus and Cesaro flew up there and they started brawling outside of the ring. It even got to the point where Slater was on the barrier and they were just slamming on him. Needless to say, after Rhino was taken out by both of them, Slater tried to battle Solo, but they got him. Heath Slater and Rhino were basically just there as filler. And I hate to say that because I love Slater and Rhino, but it just didn't work out for them.
Well, then of course, I think we should. After, well, it wasn't a bro kick from Sheamus. They got another win, and the next team to come out was, of course, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Club.
Oh, the Club.
The Club, yes.
Who, don't get me wrong, I think they're great, but they really don't do anything.
Yeah, I know.
They're kind of like nothing without AJ Styles.
Pretty much. I mean, they're supposed to be, they're great in Japan and everything.
Oh, I know.
Part of the Bullet Club, but coming here to the WWE, they're still like mediocre, I have to say.
Yeah, and as soon as I found out, well, I didn't really find out. I thought I recognized the name Luke Gallows, and I started remembering things, and then I looked it up, and I didn't realize this, but he had played Festus, and I was wondering why I recognized his face. I was like, that's fucking Festus! Are you kidding me?
Yep.
I honestly think that they either need to get the Bullet Club back together, get Finn Balor in on that, and turn them face, or they need to bump them back down to NXT and figure out something else, because the Anderson's Gallows bit doesn't work for me anymore, and honestly, I think fans are getting kind of bored. But needless to say, obviously, the Club and the Europeans were slugging it out, and a Brogue Kick ended the Club. And then my favorite duo came out outside of Enzo and Cass, the Golden Truth. I really thought Golden Truth was going to pull it out. It was a hell of a match. But in the end, it turned out that they kept if it wasn't for the fact that they kept Goldust from tagging in Truth, they probably would have won that match. I can guarantee it, because they looked amazing in the ring that night. You could feel the energy. I don't know what Goldust put in R-Truth's Gatorade, but it must have worked, because something turned on and R-Truth was fit and ready to go as soon as he got into that ring.
Definitely. And so it turns out that it was Cesaro and Sheamus winning, correct?
Yep, it was Cesaro and Sheamus winning. And then out of nowhere, the Hardy Boys stepped out, and obviously there was a talk and whatnot.
And also from what I heard, like after the Cesaro and Sheamus won, they started beating up on Truth.
Yeah, they started putting some lies in that Truth, and I felt really bad. I was just like, no.
But of course, what happened was then Matt and Jeff Hardy comes into ring,
saving our beloved Truth.
Yes, and both Sheamus and Cesaro just decided to leave instead of going at it with them. And Actually, we are going to take a short break. We will be right back in a few minutes. But we will be back with the rope shoot.
Get some popcorn, grab some drinks,
Yes.
find a hooker if you must.
And we'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Just waiting on my co-host. Oop, excuse me.
Da 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 da!
And
And
we're
we
back.
are back, guys! Hopefully you got enough fill of your popcorn, your hookers, your bathroom break.
That's right. And let's see where we left off at the tag team turmoil with once again Sheamus and Cesaro becoming the new number one contenders.
Which was no surprise for me or the WWE universe at all.
Right.
But I am kind of worried though, because here's my thing. I love Enzo and Cass. But does it seem to you that Enzo's promos are getting kind of stale?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but they are getting kind of stale.
Like, when I remember watching him on NXT, he was on fire. He was inventive. He was energetic. It just kind of seems that now that they're on the main roster, they just get more boring and more boring and more boring. I understand, like, I pretty much think that he does everything on the Johnny on the spot. Like, he does it like no script at all. Like, I was there for July 4th of last year's taping. He named off all the presidents. I don't know all the presidents. Like, that promo right there, I think that was like one of the last great promos he ever put out. But I'm sad to say, and I hate ever dissing Enzo Amore, you're getting kind of stale, honey. You need to figure it out, hun.
Yeah, we got dude. You got to start. You just got to start bringing it again. You know. And well, we'll see what happens, because the main thing is, like, from what I heard, Vince McMahon is liking Big Cass more than Enzo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if it's gonna happen or not. But it wouldn't really surprise me that they would split up Enzo and Cass at some point.
And as much as that would kill me, and I think it'll honestly squash Enzo.
But like I said, only time will tell with that. And well, like I said, only time will tell to see what's gonna happen. And no, maybe they'll split them up, maybe they won't. You never know. Maybe Enzo will get better. But up to our next match, which was Samoa Joe taking on Seth Rollins.
Yep. Of course, it was an all-out brawl. As anyone knows, Seth Rollins is still nursing that bad knee, and obviously Samoa Joe took no time in beating on said knee. Seth Rollins, despite the knee being hurt, he's still Seth freaking Rollins. He was like all over the place. He was jumping off turnbuckles. He was on the apron. Like, he still can go despite that knee. Don't let him fool you.
Oh yeah, that dude can really wrestle no matter what. And he took it to Samoa Joe. It almost to the point where it had to take Samoa Joe what I think he put him in the he was going for a power bomb, but Rollins somehow counters and hits him with a very big Falcon's arrow.
Mm-hmm.
But while Rollins was trying to hold on to the ropes, he ended up pulling out the turnbuckle cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe just took that advantage or that opportunity and took Seth Rollins' head and slammed his head right into that exposed metal in the corner.
Which the ref, while they were still wrestling, the ref was trying to put the turnback cover back on, and Joe basically was like, "No, you leave it alone." And the ref is trying to like reason with him. Joe takes the yanks it from the official's hand, and throws it into the crowd. And then this ref, bless his heart, he tried. He really tried, folks. He tried to stop Samoa Joe. He basically even said that, "I'll disqualify you if you do this." And Samoa Joe he gives no fucks basically at this point. So he takes Rollins and he basically slams his head into the exposed turnbuckle, and obviously the ref was not having it, and when Joe tried to do it again, referee disqualified him. So Rollins picked up the win via disqualification, which I figured it was going to have a kind of like a dirty or dusty finish, because that's how those in the middle of your rivalries, you always have that one match that always goes weird.
Yep.
And of course, Joe being the heel he is, he just, after the match, he was choking the crap out of Seth Rollins, and the ref was doing everything he could, and it was pure mayhem, to be honest with you.
Yes, I agree. It's just trust me, this thing between Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins, it is not over, but not by a long shot.
And I completely agree with you. Not even close to being over. I honestly think they're going to take it past Extreme Rules.
It's probably, yeah, definitely. And what came up next, of course, we had a backstage with Neville and TJ Perkins. Or, I'm sorry, now he's known as TJP. I mean, they changed everything about it. It's like the announcers has to call him TJP. His entrance, even though it still has the video game style, which in my opinion, if he's a heel now, do you think that's not the type of entrance song that he should use? Am I correct?
Yeah, it should be something like, don't get me wrong, I freaking love his entrance. I think it's so different from what I've seen. But if he's gonna be heel now, they need to do like something like a supervillain in a video game.
Right. But anyway, he's known as TJP now, and of course, they had their backstage, and he still wants that. He still wants that title shot, but you know, and he said he did take care of Austin Aries. But if you remember, TJ lost against Austin Aries. So Neville's just saying, you know, if you want, maybe I'll consider a title shot if you beat Jack Gallagher tonight. So,
can we talk about Jack Gallagher?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
I think he is the coolest thing that I've seen in a while.
The gentleman Jack Gallagher.
He has an umbrella. His tights are colorful. And, like, he's got that smug look on his face. Like, I love everything about the gentleman Jack Gallagher.
You also don't forget the twirly little mustache that he has.
I know, that's the best. And to me, he kind of looks like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons.
Oh my god, you serious?
Just without the
glasses.
Just without the glasses.
Oh my god.
Make hashtag Ned Flanders Gallagher a thing. Telling you folks.
Oh my god. That's just funny. So yeah, so it was TJP taking on Jack Gallagher. And of course, where was Raw?
It was in London.
And where's Jack Gallagher from?
He's from London.
He's from the UK. Yep, he's from London, and he got a very warm reception from his fellow countrymen.
Mm-hmm. Which even the commentators, because Neville was on commentary with the commentators. The commentators even called that out. They said, "Oh, it looks like they like Jack Gallagher better than like you."
Oh, ouch.
I want to say it was Corey Graves that actually said that. It was
Ouch.
either Cole or Graves, one of the two. But Neville, I don't believe him as a heel.
Really? I don't know. I'm going to have to disagree with that.
I don't believe him as a heel. I liked him better when he had the superhero gimmick against Stardust. When he's the high flying, having fun, like he teams up with Stephen Amell, like that to me is Neville. Seeing him twist into this I don't know, this king of the cruiserweights, I'm a heel, look at me. It's not a selling point for me.
Well, that's true.
Bring back face Neville. He does better as a face.
That's true. That's true. But you know, right now it's working for him. So we don't know if he's going to come back with the superhero or he's going to stay as king of the cruiserweights. Only time will tell. But as far as like TJP was going, now you see that TJP he won the match, and he won the match by pulling on the tights of Gallagher.
And you could see ass crack for days.
And the pasty white ass.
I honestly think Gallagher takes the cake over Sheamus. He's probably the palest man on the roster.
Oh god. And so and after that, TJP decided to go and lock Gallagher in the knee bar right after the match.
Because that's what heels do, is beat up people.
Satisfied. And then but that of course that stopped because Austin Aries came out from the crowd and just started beating up on even though he had the knee brace, he started beating up on TJP. And of course TJP Neville went out of the commentary table, and both TJP and Neville were in the ramp while Austin Aries was in the ring to make sure that Jack Gallagher was okay.
And Austin Aries won points with me for saving Ned Flanders.
Oh my god. You know, now that I think about it, yeah, he kind of does look like Ned Flanders.
But with a British accent.
Right. No glasses and a British accent. Hi, Leo. Okay. Anyway, the next match we had was, of course, Alicia Fox taking on the boss, the legit boss, Sasha Banks.
My boo. I love Miss Sasha. This match for me was kind of boring.
This time no love for the boo, huh?
No, don't get me wrong. Sasha Banks, she can do no wrong in my book. But this match was not either Foxy or the boss's best. I kind of feel like they just kind of I think Dean Ambrose put this together just so that we can see more girls.
Probably. You know, it's starting. It's once again, it's starting to get like the women's division is starting to get a little bit stale. We need, you know, more stuff going on.
This is true. This was, however, for number one contendership for the women's belt on Raw, which Banks obviously won. It was a really quick match. Foxy didn't look that great. Sasha, the match didn't do her really any favors. We could already tell because as soon as we saw when it came back from commercial, they didn't even show Alicia Fox's entrance. You could already tell she was going to lose just by that. Usually when WWE does stuff like that by skipping over an entrance, it usually means if the person hasn't already been out there, it means they're going to lose. Hate to say it, but...
Right. Right, and of course, our main event of the night was Bray Wyatt taking on Dean Ambrose. Now, you know those two are no strangers to each other.
Yeah, and I always love it when they're in the ring together because it's so interesting because you've got Bray Wyatt who's nuts, and then you've got the lunatic French who's a complete lunatic. So it's always interesting to see these two together. This match... it felt forced for me. There was like no energy, and I hate to say that, especially when it comes to an Ambrose match, because Ambrose usually when he gets out there, he gives it his all.
Mhm.
He's just one of those guys, but the whole thing with the Miz interfering and costing Dean the match, it was boring. It was predictable, and it took away from what could have been a great match.
Yeah.
But in a promising note here, Miz did say that that he was going to take the gold in their match next week, because obviously they're not waiting for Extreme Rules for this. They're actually putting the Intercontinental Championship up on the line on next Monday's Raw. It'll
nice.
be Miz and Dean. And this is what struck me. Even though the Miz, I hate his guts, I love to hate him.
Mhm.
He says, and I quote, "The Intercontinental Championship meant something when I had it."
Right.
And I'll hand it to the Miz. Miz, whenever he has the IC Championship, he always does great. His runs are always beautiful. And I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Dean's getting kind of lazy, and I hate saying that, but
yeah, true. But I'm gonna actually get into that a little bit later on a new little segment that I just came up. I forgot to tell you, but we're gonna get to that. Now we're gonna go with the SmackDown. We had out with SmackDown. Luckily, I was able to find what it was. Of course, Randy Orton comes out at first, saying that it wasn't Wyatt or the Fridge that beat him at Payback. It was Jinder Mahal's interference. So the thing was that Jinder Mahal is getting a major push right now.
And he came out of nowhere, which is funny to me.
Yeah, it's very funny. I mean, ever since well, you know them in the indie scene as the Bollywood Boys, but these are the Singh brothers. Ever since he got with the Singh brothers, he's been like almost through the roof.
Basically, now they've got his reemergence. It's kind of interesting to watch him. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I want to see what happens at Payback because of this.
Right. So Jinder Mahal just he's making a lot of claims that he's going to be the new champion. He even took pictures with the championship belt, even though he hasn't won it yet. But he already took his promo pictures with the championship belt. And then, of course, after that, here comes what he's now called the new face of America, Kevin Owens. And of course, he's saying a lot of stuff, saying that he took out Chris Jericho. Of course, last week's rope shoot stated like what Chris Jericho is actually doing.
Yeah.
But he's taking out. He took out Chris Jericho and this and the other thing. And of course, the number one contender for the United States Championship, AJ Styles, also comes out. So we have all four competitors there. Stating their claim on everything. And then, of course, next thing you know, there's also Baron Corbin. But here's the funny thing. Baron Corbin, before he did get some words out, but all of a sudden, Sami Zayn comes down, attacks Baron Corbin from behind. AJ Styles goes straight for Kevin Owens. Jinder Mahal going straight for Randy Orton, and it was just like pandemonium.
So basically, it was your run-of-the-mill opening promo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is sad.
Yes.
Though I have been hearing around the campfire that the critics actually say that this show was basically phoned in. Because even after the mayhem and the outstanding showmanship on Raw, SmackDown just couldn't compete with it this week. I hate to say it, because SmackDown's probably my favorite of the two shows.
Yeah.
But Raw takes the cake as the winner this week.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we can talk about what happened and all with SmackDown, but it was just probably the only good thing. The only good things, some of them was a new episode of the Fashion Files
Yeah,
with Breezango.
that is probably one of the biggest selling points for me right now. That and the whole welcoming committee for Charlotte.
Yes, in the welcoming committee, which is Natalya, Carmella, Tamina, and I guess we should add James Ellsworth.
Well, he's technically Carmella's valet, so you can't.
Yeah. So of course they had Becky Lynch versus Natalya.
Yep, the Irish lass kicker, my babe.
And the crowd was completely behind her. But according to this, and I'm getting all my information right now at the Bleacher Report, with the Bleacher Report, where the Queen of Hearts is like overpowering her with abdominal stretch, and then she used the then Becky used the Exploder to take Natalya down, and then a brawl almost breaks out the ringside, but Charlotte holds back Naomi, and that gave Natalya the distraction she needed to get the pin and the win. And Natalya won the match against Becky Lynch.
And what kills me is how fast this match was. 3 fucking minutes.
That's crazy.
What happened with the women's revolution?
I don't know. And then what? And now Charlotte, all of a sudden, she's face.
Yeah, there's no explanation. Like, I can understand that the welcoming committee is gonna beat the crap out of her because she was Raw champion for so long, and she wasn't the nicest person on Raw. But at the same point, she's on SmackDown now. Like, you'd think she'd join the heels.
I know, but no. And you know what what makes this even more weird with the welcoming committee? Okay, wasn't Tamina supposed to be on Raw?
You know what? Now that I think about it, I think so, actually.
Yeah, Tamina was supposed to be on Raw, but then let me double check with that. I believe she was supposed to be on Raw, and then she got transferred to SmackDown. So if that's the case, let me say let me double check. Hold on a second. GPB. Oh, okay. Well, she was had been undrafted at the 2006. It was okay. She was undrafted. She was not drafted to neither Raw or SmackDown.
Okay.
So she made her return on SmackDown. So I guess you can say that because she made her official return on SmackDown, and she was never she wasn't drafted to begin with until she was medically cleared. Then I can understand that Tamina being part of that team.
Right.
Now, if she was on Raw first and then going to SmackDown, why would she be part of the welcoming committee when Natalya and Carmella were in SmackDown already?
Right.
Then of course we have you had Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan. Your thoughts on?
I was honestly confused. Like, I don't understand why these two are having a match.
What made it even weirder was now Eric Rowan talking to his mask, which when I saw the mask looks completely different. So I just thought it was kind of weird.
It's weird. It's confusing. Like, I feel like this is like they're not really giving them any like. There's no storylining here as to what is going on. Like, you're just watching a man talk to a mask, and then he's fighting his former Wyatt family member, It was very confusing. Eric Rowan scored the win against Luke Harper, and it was, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. And of course, we have Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler showing his mouth off once again.
Confronting Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Close enough.
Yes. I'm sorry to do with that. It's Shinsuke Nakamura. But the thing with Dolph Ziggler, he was just complaining how people were booing him and cheering for Shinsuke, because the reason why Dolph Ziggler is complaining about it is because Dolph Ziggler has done a lot in the WWE. And yes, he has. You can't wrong him for that. That he's done a lot, and people just boo him, and they cheer for Shinsuke Nakamura. But you got to understand, and I'm pretty sure he knows, that Shinsuke Nakamura has done so much, not just in NXT, not just in SmackDown, but when he was in Japan. I mean, the man over there, he's a legend in Japan. So I can understand why Dolph Ziggler is just like complaining and whining why. And he was complaining because Nakamura never even had a single match on SmackDown.
Yep. And
So,
that's another point I want to make. Well, first off, Dolph Ziggler, you can hear the conviction in his voice.
mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like he was being scripted there. I want to say he was just saying it off the cuff. So bravo for him. If he was reading from a script, he made it believable. But I honestly think that the biggest obstacle that we're dealing with, though, is how to keep Nakamura interesting, even though he still hasn't had a match yet, which he will later this month at Backlash, which is, I think, the 28th, something along those lines.
Yeah. I can double check.
Yeah, I think it's the 28th or 21st. But, like, I understand. He's a legend. Like, he's done fantastic things over in Japan. Like, he's a legend over there. He's got the skill set. He was at NXT for freaking ever, it feels like. He showed himself there. And now they're kind of just like, I don't know. They're just. I have a feeling that once he debuts, they're just going to kind of push him to the wayside. And that bothers me.
Right. And another thing is just and we'll just see, we'll see what's going to happen between him and Ziggler.
Which that should be interesting, because Dolph Ziggler, he's always been a strong competitor. He's got a strong moveset. He's got charisma. Like, he's a great performer. And then you've got Nakamura, who's done brilliant things. They're pretty evenly matched, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Right. And of course now, of course they keep saying that coming soon to SmackDown Live, it'll be the New Day.
New Day rocks. New Day rocks.
And they're coming soon to SmackDown Live. I'm guessing they're probably going to come when Kofi's clear to wrestle again.
Yeah, that would probably be my best.
But like Xavier Woods still has his up down show. So don't forget to see his stuff. It's pretty awesome. And just as soon I can't talk right now.
You are failing at words.
I am failing at words, but yeah, just keep watching Xavier Woods up, down, and hopefully the New Day we will see the New Day very soon on SmackDown. Okay, our next match, of course, was the Ascension taking on Breezango.
Is it just me, or did the Ascension get a makeover?
They kind of got a makeover. They did.
So they're less Road Warriors now?
A little bit.
Yay, no more Road Warriors fangirling.
But you had Breezango. Now here's the interesting thing about Breezango. Tyler Breeze and Fandango took something that was so ridiculous and they made it work. I mean, they're one of the funniest things happening right now. And they, like I said, they took on the Ascension, but before that, we had something called the Fashion Files, which, if you don't know, is kind of a parody of Law and Order. And it was just hilarious. This week they were in England, and I'm guessing what the thing is, you had Fandango dressed up as Sherlock Holmes, and Tyler Breeze as a constable. Like, the police officers, they had the tall hats, the tall little hats, not the Royal Guard, but like the constables. The police.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling you, these guys are crazy. But of course, you had Breezango versus Ascension. Of course, Breezango wins with when Fandango did his last dance leg drop. And it was not a long match. It was just, and I hate to say it, but now the Ascension, they're just getting buried.
Yeah, pretty much. When they did the brand split, like, the Ascension is just, they're not what they used to be. Like, they used to be one of the most, like, I thought they were one of the most exciting when they teamed it with Stardust.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was brilliant, having them kind of like henchmen guys.
Right.
And then now they've got them and they're just burying them. And I honestly think maybe drop them back down to NXT and rework them, because they have potential. It's just they need to find a good gimmick. That's
true.
all. That's all they need.
That's true. Of course, the Usos comes out after this because now, Breezango are the number one contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and they kept repeating 12 days. In 12 days, this is gonna happen. In 12 days, and it's just, I thought it was repetitive. It was good and repetitive at the same time.
When I say oos, you say oh. Oos.
Oh.
Oos.
Oh.
I can't help it. I love the Usos.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty badass, to be honest. So, and then I heard there was like a real segment with Mojo Rawley.
I don't think I caught that, actually.
Well, I'm hearing it here. It's like Mojo Rawley is giving a tour to some kids and telling them a story about Andre the Giant. So he plays a joke on one of the kids, and the little kid kicks him in the shin, and they all have a laugh, and they just walk away. Bleacher Report says it was kind of a strange segment. Then we have our main event, which was a 6-man tag between Kevin Owens, Jinder Mahal, and Baron Corbin versus Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles. So, I'm not sure if you saw that match.
I did briefly. I didn't catch all of it, though. Work schedules and whatnot. So.
Right. No, but it was just back. It was just back and forth. I have everything here. It's like Styles and Corbin started it off. They got a few shots in. Styles got a few shots in before tagging Sammy, and then Jinder comes in. Sammy gets sees his takedown. Orton asks for a tag, gets it, and then Jinder tags in Owens. Jinder tags in Owens, so he doesn't. Let's face it, and KO narrowly avoids an RKO. And then it was just back and forth, basically. At the end, of course, at the end of the match, once again, towards the end of the match, he takes out Corbin. Randy Orton takes out Corbin and Owens before setting up for an RKO. Then once again, the Singh brothers distract him, and that led to everybody coming in, hitting a big move. And when it was all said and done, with the Cobra Clutch Slam, Mahal once again gets to pin over Randy Orton. And basically the show ends with Mahal celebrating. And like I said, they're really pushing Mahal to the point. Do you think they may put the belt on him at
Honestly,
Backlash?
It's going to be hard to say. I would say yes, but if they do, it wouldn't be for long because Orton would have that rematch clause to try to take it away again. So I don't know. I would like to see Mahal pick up the win because I like where he's headed, where the direction he's headed. They're pushing him really well. He's looking good in all his matches. He's got the Singh brothers, of course. So who knows? He might pick up the win.
Right. And now I'm going to do a little segment about what I call the rope break. It's where I just talk about certain things that's happening in the wrestling world, and I just give my opinion to what it is and stuff. And today, the one thing I want to talk about is Brock Lesnar and the WWE Universal Championship.
Bullshit!
Well, I'm going to get to that. Well, the thing that kind of gripes me about it is the fact that ever since Brock Lesnar won that title, we barely see it on Raw. The only time we saw it on Raw was when the day after I think it's the day after I think he won it at Payback, correct? Or
I think so.
Trying to remember. But let's get my notes here. Bronson. That's the thing. It was like, oh no, it was at WrestleMania where he won it, I believe, from Goldberg. So, but let me just double check. Yeah, that was the thing. Brock Lesnar defeated Goldberg at WrestleMania for the belt. Wasn't even in the Payback pay-per-view at all. And that's the thing. And we haven't even seen it on Raw ever since. And that kind of pisses me off. Yeah, the Universal title right now, people are saying a lot that it doesn't look like great design, yada, yada, yada. That's not the point. The point is that the Universal's title is supposed to be the main title for that brand. And you have someone who's a part-timer and would not even show up on Raw except for maybe a few shows once in a while for some reason. And that really gripes me. I mean, given the fact that they have to talk about, like Seth Rollins was saying, he wants a shot at the title. Finn Balor wants a shot at the title. Braun Strowman wants a shot at the title. This, that, and the other thing. And Brock Lesnar doesn't come on Raw most of the time, so we don't even see that championship. Heck, we now see the Intercontinental Championship more than the Universal Championship, and the Universal Championship is supposed to be the highest title. So try to explain that to me.
Maybe they're making it more of an exclusive thing, like you have to get through the IC Championship before you can even climb the mountain that is the Universal Championship. Maybe they're doing that. My thing with the Universal Championship is it's kind of hard. Brock Lesnar, I can understand why he doesn't do a lot of events. But at the same time, if you're going to be champion, step up your game and be a fighting champion, which is one of the gripes that The Miz has about Dean Ambrose. and why they think that he's lazy.
Right. And one of the things is that, of course, and you see Randy Orton as the world champion. That championship has a little bit more screen time. Yes, for a time, Jinder Mahal had it, stole it and stuff, but it still had more screen time than the Universal Championship. When Kevin Owens was the Universal Champion, we saw that belt. We saw him almost on every Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put it on Goldberg. Well, what's done is done, and then they put it, and then they put on Brock Lesnar, and we barely see it. And I'm thinking at some point, and now, and this is another thing I forgot to mention, is now they want, and this is from Paul Heyman, after he won the belt, he's saying that he wants Roman Reigns. So they want to do like another Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
It won't. The fans won't allow it.
They won't allow it. It's possible. That's why that's why like people like Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman. That's why they're trying to get their hat in it. And I think it's just crazy. They have to take that belt off of Brock Lesnar, in my opinion.
Honestly, I think it is time for Brock Lesnar to hang it up. He doesn't appear. Like when he was doing the whole thing against Roman Reigns around last year when they were doing the Royal Rumble and everything. Like you saw Brock Lesnar more than you ever saw him, and now he's kind of like, I'm not doing anything anymore. Got a championship.
Pretty much. That's pretty much it. And that's what I don't like. So, anyway, I believe that's all the time we have for the rope shoot. We promise you we're going to get you more stuff and everything. Like I said, this is our second episode, and we're doing the best we can. Don't forget to go ahead and trying to get something here. I don't know if you can see that.
I can.
Okay. Hopefully everybody else can. Just follow. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at the. Oh, you know what? Let me put it again so that follow us here on Facebook.
Yep, we are at www.facebook.com/theropeshoot.
And of course, also don't forget to follow us at Twitter at theropeshoot.com. There it is. Yep.
And of course, you can always follow us at our respective Twitters.
Mm-hmm. You can follow me at Anime Lone Wolf.
And you can follow me at Bunny Von Terror.
All right. So until then, wait next week at 5 p.m. for the next rope shoot. And one more thing, we pretty soon we will have a Patreon page. So we will get you the information on that soon. So until then, this is Vic the Slick.
And this is Bunny Von Terror saying good night, good fight.